Brittany was hiding behind a tree.
Yeah, so for a while I just kind of hid behind a tree with my camera and captured this precious moment.
If this is your first time here, we're Eric and Brittany Highland, and along with our 7-year-old son Caspian, we're attempting to drive around the entire world in our home, a 2021 Jeep Gladiator we call Dauntless. Our goal at Hourless Life is to give you a first-person point of view so that you feel that you're actually with us on this incredible journey. So if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button. We'd love to take you around the world with us. Our last video was really special to us. One of the questions we get asked most is about Caspian's education on the road. So in that video, we took some time to show you just how we do that. We also took you out to some remote locations to camp with friends and to an awesome event with great food, good friends called the Juniper Jamboree. The video was a lot of fun, and if you missed it, we'll link it here. In this video, we're leaving Leadville, Colorado and heading to Salida. From there to Buena Vista and then up to St. Elmo, then over to Breckenridge, then to Frisco, then down to Denver and back to Frisco. Essentially, as you can see, we're bouncing all over the Rockies. There is so much going on in this video. We'll take you with us to an epic ghost town, see some awesome wildlife, share just how feral our son Caspian is, take you to a camping spot that few people ever get up to, and talk a little bit about the lines that we take when off-roading. Then we'll head back down to Denver for some time with family, and then back out to camp and meet up with some good friends where we run into a little problem with Guardian, our Jeep Wrangler. So let's get to it. We're in Guardian and exploring the beautiful Colorado Rockies.
It's Highland Family Vacation Week 2024, unofficially. This is basically the only week that we're here in the States where we're not heading anywhere. We're not with anybody else. We don't really have an agenda, and we just have time to do whatever it is we want to do. And today what we want to do is be in downtown Salida, Colorado, hanging out at the park. Whenever we're back in the United States, everything feels rushed. We're trying to cram so much stuff into a short period of time. And not that it's a vacation for us, because it's not, but if you've ever taken a vacation, maybe you were trying to cram all these things in, this long itinerary into a short period of time, and you ended up going home even more tired than you were when you left on vacation. That's kind of what this is like for us.
And we're not used to that because on our global overlanding journey, we travel very, very slowly. And so to give you an idea, you could drive from the southern border of Texas all the way to Mendoza, Argentina, according to Google Maps, in 14 12-hour driving days. Now that does include border crossings and ship crossings and stuff.
But it gives you an idea.
Yeah, it gives you an idea that we travel extremely slowly because we did that in 2.5 years, right? And so when we get back to the States, our life is just kind of upended.
Yeah, so this week was different for us though. We pressed pause on the hectic pace and just took some time to be together as a family. We were intentional to slow down and just drive around with no agenda, exploring epic back roads, playing in splash pads, seeing wildlife, hanging out in the wilderness, driving through amazing scenery, and just relaxing, spending some much needed time together, just the three of us.
We've just kind of been exploring these little towns up here in the Rockies, and we were headed to Salida. Then I saw a sign that said St. Elmo's and something about a ghost town. It said go that way, so we made the turn, and now it's like a half an hour away. So we're headed towards St. Elmo. Random.
The pavement ended about 5.5 miles before St. Elmo. We're going through these beautiful quaking aspen with the river to the right-hand side of us.
There's a debate. I say this is 100% a young beaver. Brittany said no, look at its tail. She thinks it's a groundhog. What do you have to say, Brittany?
Well, beavers' tails don't look anything like that. I could not believe that Eric thought that thing was a beaver. I may have been a little bit off myself, but you'll have to let us know what you think in a comment.
Anyway, we continued on to St. Elmo. We found a place to park, walked over to the general store to pick up some feed for the locals who live there, which are known as chipmunks.
They were super cute, and Caspian was so excited about the process. His big goal was to get them to come out and eat out of his hand. It was a huge challenge for our 7-year-old to be still enough for the chipmunks to come up to him and do that.
Wow, Caspian. Whoa, hey, Caspian, that was awesome.
Yes.
What did you think, Caspia?
I His paws felt super furry.
But he loved the whole thing. And after we took care of the chipmunks, we went to the old St. Elmo Town Hall, which is now a museum. We love history, and there were some amazing exhibits here showing photos from the past where we could look at what this town used to be.
What are your thoughts, Brittany?
What makes St. Elmo unique is that normally towns either die because of neglect and all the buildings fall down, or they're still inhabited and all the old buildings get replaced by new buildings. But with St. Elmo, the existing buildings are from before 1900, and there were these caretaking families over time that kept them the way that they are and preserved them. And that's what makes it really special. We had a great time in St. Elmo, but we decided to get back on our original route and come into Salida. We are literally like 5 minutes from Salida, but we are on BLM land now. Look at those clouds, so beautiful. We are trying to find where we're going. We're pulling in around 6 p.m. These are designated campsites, free camping for up to 14 days. Now the challenge is to try and get level here with our Go Treads.
You can see how we use the Go Treads to level up Guardian. We're on 2 sets of Go Treads to level him up. Brittany just hopped up into the tent, getting it all set up. Caspian is in his element, in a tree, looking for chipmunks. This side is very much not level, but we did our level best. Haha, see what I did there?
We woke up today and we had no idea what we wanted to do. We went into Salida for a little while and hung out by the park, by the river. But then we decided we wanted to come back up by Buena Vista. So we did that, grabbed some lunch, and now we're going back towards St. Elmo to a campground that we scoped out while we were up there. There's our site. And just this way is the creek. And we have found a pretty fun place to play. Yet another outdoor playground.
As full-time travelers for over a decade, it's hard for some people to grasp that our 7.5-year-old son Caspian has never lived in a home. He's lived his entire life outdoors.
He's definitely comfortable in his element outside. And while Eric worked on a YouTube video at camp, he and I wandered down to the stream that runs alongside the campground, and Caspian was just totally immersed in where he was. He took off his socks and his shoes, he was barefoot, he was kind of picking things up, feeling how cold the water was, exploring, learning, and growing, so much so that he seemed to completely forget that I even existed.
Brittany was hiding behind a tree.
Yeah, so for a while I just kind of hid behind a tree with my camera and captured this precious moment. He is growing so fast right now, and he won't always be playing like this. So it was a joy to witness that and capture it. And eventually he came up to me, he found me and came up to me with 2 sticks because he had made up a game that he wanted us to play together.
Whichever one makes it down there wins.
And that's Caspian's.
The air piercer.
And this is mine. All right.
Go right here.
On your mark, get set, go. Is that mine or yours?
That's yours.
Where's yours? Oh no, yours is stuck. Oh, there it goes, there it goes.
I will never stop.
All right, was that fun?
Yes, ma'am.
Here's your yo-yo and your rock and your marble. We had an awesome night at Mount Princeton Campground here in the National Forest. I think it was exactly the type of camping experience we were hoping to have this week. So we have today and tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, and then on Friday we're back at my brother's. So our time is getting a little bit short. We are heading to a town called Fairplay, which is a great name for a town.
Not as good as Caspian's band name, which came about this morning from the game of 20 questions. It is
Species of Squirrel.
Species of Squirrel, otherwise known as SOS. So if you ever see that band, that's Caspian.
We enjoyed some coffee and downtime and lunch at Otto's in the town of Fairplay, but we decided to get back on the road. We were only about half an hour from Breckenridge, so we're headed north to Breck to maybe spend a couple days there.
And I was just mentioning to Caspian that we're at 11,000 feet of elevation. He said, that's not high. I've been close to 16,000 feet. I was like, that's true.
Welcome to Breckenridge.
Caspian has been getting really into yo-yoing ever since we got him a yo-yo for Christmas. But today we got him a new one and he suggested that Daddy get one too. So Daddy did. We've been walking up and down the main street, hopping in and out of shops and just enjoying this day. It's such a great week for us and we're having so much fun in these little Colorado towns. That is Breckenridge down below. We are on our way to camp for the night. We're in National Forest right now, and for the next 6 or so miles, camping is allowed in designated sites. So we are trying to see if we can find one. Wow, look at that. So we had to drive a few miles up the mountain, but we finally found a site that nobody is in. And the reason that nobody's in it is because you need high clearance to access it. And that's what we have a Jeep for.
This entrance was a rather steep off-camber to the driver's side trail with about a 2-foot drop into a deep rut filled with mud. So the line I took was to use the hard berm off the driver's side front tire and then turn passenger to make the climb and avoid the drop. As I make the climb, you can see the driver's side front flex up towards the wheel well. Slow and steady motion was the right call. Then it was up towards the campsite.
This part is all exposed roots. So love, there's actually 3 sites here.
Wow, which one do you want?
So I like this one because it's level, but the one in front of us has a fire pit. And I think if we back in and stay more towards the entrance, we can get level. And that way we can use the fire pit that's already there.
And then I take the smallest of the twigs and I break them and start putting them on top.
Like sprinkles, you sprinkle them.
Yeah, I just want to make a little mound.
They build a little tiny teepee, Daddy?
Like I said, you want to give it just enough that you're not smothering it, but enough that it has some to feed off of. Well, we did it. This is our site. There was that nice gatekeeper at the front, which keeps people from coming up here. But there's a nice fire pit right here. Caspian collected most of the wood, and Brittany provided the actual flame because our lighter didn't work, so she used her jet boil. And we have a view of the mountains behind us. It's just really beautiful and peaceful up here. We're just outside of Breckenridge.
Right as we were waking up this morning, it started raining, which is normally fine, but I think Eric was a little concerned about getting down that obstacle and out of the campground. You can see a little bit of what we're dealing with here. It is definitely a little bit slicker than it was when we came up yesterday. Saying a prayer that we can get out of here okay. We may have been having Moab flashbacks from the one time we slid down the cliff after the rain. Here comes Guardian. Fortunately, we have all those exposed roots up there to offer some traction, but when you get down here to the bottom, which is the really steep part, you don't really have anything to grip onto anymore. This part is a lot more off camber than it looks on camera. Somehow Guardian always makes everything look easy though. Thanks, Guardian. All right, Eric, what do you have to say for yourself?
It was a truck that tried to come up last night, but they decided to abandon it and didn't make it up. Going down was actually a little more sketchy than going up just because of the way the line was. So I just put it in 4 high, picked a good line and came down, and Guardian just handles it like butter still, but I'm glad we're down. And now we're headed to Frisco, which is only about 33 minutes away, and it's a town that Brittany really likes.
We were last here in 2021 with family in the middle of building out Dauntless. So he was done at Juniper Overland, but we still had to do all the mechanical work and I don't know what else, but we were only a third or so done. It is a rainy day today. This is Main Street that we just turned onto, and it's such a cute main street to walk around. Frisco grows more and more every time we're gone, but I still really love it. To me, it's not quite as touristy as Breckenridge. It's a little bit more authentic and charming. We have been here so many times and never even knew that this campground was here right outside of town. How cool is this? So we're gonna go on a walk to go see the lake. Hello, Lake Dillon. One of the reasons I love Frisco so much is this beautiful lake. Caspian made some friends on the shores of Lake Dillon and was having a great time. But there was a massive storm coming in. The clouds were ominous, the wind was starting to whip, and we needed to get back to Guardian. Just as we arrived, the rain started to come down in sheets, and we climbed up into the tent to weather the storm. And we're glad we came back when we did, because the rain quickly turned to hail and lasted for a good part of the night. That was a crazy storm last night, but we were totally snug in our tent, no issues whatsoever. And thankfully the sun came out this morning to dry off the tent material because we are going back to my brother's today, and I'm really happy that we didn't have to pack the tent up wet. That's never fun. So yeah, we're going to my brother's for the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Gonna go out camping one more time next week, and then it's the home stretch, our final preparations before flying back to Argentina.
Traffic is bad getting back into Denver. My Google Maps is red. It says that we have 57 minutes left. We left about 20 minutes ago, and it said it was an hour.
Well, our 1 hour drive to Denver has turned into longer. We've been here for a long time, huh?
I-70 is closed. We're still parked on I-70, and we just saw a big truck go by with flashing lights. Apparently there was some kind of truck that caught on fire about 3 miles ahead of where we are. News reports are coming out. We just happened to catch it.
So we've moved a few car lengths, but now it looks like we're really moving. It's 1:44 p.m. basically at a standstill for 2 straight hours. That's never even happened in Latin America, so it's been a long wait. Caspian has been a trooper. Some tears have been shed, and our thoughts are with anyone who was impacted by the accident that shut down the interstate. What was supposed to be a 1 hour drive turned into a 4 hour drive. Oh, it was such a mess. But we still made it back to my brother's house in time to help my sister-in-law prepare for their housewarming party.
And our sister-in-law is Hannah, and she is an incredible cook, and all kinds of amazing things were being made in that kitchen.
I was doing my best to help. I like taking directions from Hannah because I'm way out of my depth here. She asked me what I like to bake yesterday, and I was like, well, I haven't owned an oven in more than a decade, so that's a tricky one. The party was a huge success. Both Timothy and Hannah have the gift of hospitality and a beautiful home. It was such a joy getting to know their friends, Tim's colleagues from work, some family.
I have a ton of friends.
It was just a great time overall.
And we still had one more camping trip in us, believe it or not. Some of our Patreon supporters said, hey, we're going to be up in the Colorado area. Would you come out and camp with us? So we did. We're excited to see them. We've never met them in person. We're going to spend 2 days doing that, then come back to Denver and make our final preparations for heading back to Argentina. We just booked an Airbnb today for our stay in Mendoza. And the reason for that is that Brittany's going to have a surgery and she's going to need some time to recover. After she's recovered and we leave the Airbnb, then we will head down towards Patagonia and do all that kind of stuff. So that's what's going on right now. It looks like Brittany just came back with groceries. Got to get some fuel, and then we'll head up to go see our friends.
We went back the way we came, back to the Rockies, back towards the Frisco area. We were a little bit concerned about the clouds and watching them as we went to set up camp again. We are here camping in the Dillon, Colorado area, and we're here with our friends. They're down in that A-liner with the Gladiator. Our friends and our patrons, Sammy and Shelly. And I just told Caspian that we are not going to be able to find a birthday cereal in South America this year. Birthday cereal is something that my mom did and that I do too. So usually there are like some cereals that are basically pure sugar that we only get for our birthday. But Argentina does not have a lot of cereal brands, so we will not be able to find anything like that for Caspian's 8th birthday in December. So we got this to enjoy before we go because we head out in 8 days. I am preempting and enjoying this opportunity. I'm gonna have some birthday cereal too. So we were getting ready to go into town and have a fun afternoon when we happened to check our oil and it was very low. So how do you like my LaCroix oil funnel? Fortunately, we were carrying extra oil, so that is good. All right, Eric, so what's going on with the oil?
We have had a slow leak, and when I did my check this morning, it was pretty dry. So I put the quart in. We're gonna stop at Walmart, get an extra quart because we have an oil change scheduled for Friday. So I'll just have them take a look at it. But always do your daily checks, and I'm talking to me as much as I'm talking to you.
So we are headed into Frisco with our friends now. As I mentioned, we were already going. And in this Gladiator is Sam and Shelly Hinton. They are longtime patrons of ours and now good friends, which tends to happen with our patrons who are really active. We become good friends in real life and love to spend time together whenever we can. This is our first time meeting in person, but it has been really fun to be together, and we are looking forward to the rest of today.
Because we had talked so much on Patreon, we already felt like we knew Sammy and Shelly. They're a great couple, and we had a great time with them as we went around Frisco.
Yeah, we went into town together, walked around the shops. They did some shopping for souvenirs. We don't have room for souvenirs, but we loved going with them.
We ate a meal together.
Yeah, we shared dinner together and just talked and got to know one another even better.
We really enjoyed our time with Sam, Shelly, and Tanner. We're packing up today to head back to Denver. I've got a public speaking thing tonight. Other than that, we're wrapping up stuff here in the States. It's happening. We're getting really close to heading back to Argentina. What are your thoughts, Brittany?
I don't know. I'm a little frazzled today. We fly out a week from today, so that's really soon. And we have to get our whole life together before then.
That's right. Our time in the United States is nearly over, and we'll be heading back to Argentina to continue our drive around the world. Most people have no idea how hard these transitions are from continent to continent. There's so much that goes into them. In our next video, we're going to share what our last week in the United States looked like and all the preparations required to get back to South America and to our global overlanding rig. You're not going to want to miss our next video. So if you haven't yet, this is your reminder to subscribe to our channel now and hit the bell icon so you get notified when the next video goes up. And if you really want to get to know us, go behind the scenes with us on our Patreon. If you enjoy what we share here on our YouTube channel, you should really check out our Patreon. We have a lot of fun with our community there and answer their questions directly and with transparency, and there's quite a few perks in there for our Patreon subscribers too. Head to the link in the description of this video. It costs you nothing to check it out, and we'd really appreciate it if you take a look. We hope you enjoyed this section of our journey around the world, and we thank you for being part of it. Stay tuned for the outtakes, and until next time, we will see you in the next video.